Welcome to another video presented by Reach Recovery. Today we're going to talk about relapse prevention and specifically the BUD syndrome. Please stay tuned for other videos within this series of relapse prevention and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the end of this video. So what is a BUD? The BUD stands for the acronym to build up to drink or drug. A BUD is actually not the use of chemicals, but is preceded by the use of chemicals. This is also referred to, as AA coins it, a dry drunk. So what is a dry drunk? Dry means the abstinence of chemicals, while drunk revolves around the behavioral patterns of a person who has used chemicals in the past. While a dry drunk has not actually used chemicals, it suggests the intoxication of chemicals by the way they act or think or behave. So how do we build up to the BUD syndrome? This is actually a process of setting ourselves up to use chemicals long before we ever do. It is seen through our actions, our behaviors, our ways of thinking, long before we ever use chemicals. The BUD is a condition far more serious than the highs and lows of a typical day. Unless we are able to identify these patterns in our life and deal with them through the grace of God, we will be sure to find ourselves in relapse. The BUD syndrome affects our reasoning, it affects our perception of reality, it affects our attitudes, and unless someone has identified the characteristics of the BUD early in its stages, the dry drunk will end up becoming a wet drunk and will have returned to their drug of choice. Someone in recovery is usually unable to recognize the BUD syndrome in its early stages. That's why it's so important for family members and loved ones of the addict to be able to recognize these characteristics. Someone who is in a dry drunken state is usually oblivious to the effects of the BUD syndrome. We have observed that when the BUD is allowed to run its full course, someone in recovery will return to their use of chemicals. The BUD is very dangerous, and in order for someone to continue their life of sobriety, they will have to learn to overcome the BUD. Please continue to watch our other videos within this series to learn how to identify and to overcome the BUD. Thank you for watching.